Greetings, Muttonistas. About 7 weeks ago, Manchester City opened their Champions League campaign on the sunny banks of the Guadalquivir River in Seville. I was indeed walking around in wonderful weather in short sleeves. Now, come the last game of this truncated group stage, where we've had to cram in 6 games in 7 or 8 weeks, we welcome Seville back for the final game. And yes, we're welcoming them with some of our traditional weather as well. Okay, Muttonistas, for today's food segment, something a little bit unusual. Caribbean food. Probably not the weather for it, but I passed by this place and I do know they're a chain and I've been wanting to try it for a while, so what better opportunity? Well, Muttonistas, I'm encouraged by these 4 bottles of sauce in front of me. I don't know what they are, and I have been to the Caribbean, so I know what the jerk sauce is. Now, these Caribbean hot sauces can be viciously hot. And don't forget, some pretty fiery chilies are grown in the Caribbean, with the Scotch bonnet being the one I know is definitely from that area and springs to my mind pretty easily. I've eaten one raw, I regretted it afterwards. Okay, this is not really a wine cuisine, so I've gone for beer, and of course Red Stripe is one of the most famous from these parts, from Jamaica, and there's stuff like Banks from Barbados, and quite a few others from the other islands, but I tonight have gone for their Caribbean craft lager. No idea how this is going to taste, and although I'm not much of a lager drinker, ale or bitter wouldn't go at all well with this sort of food. Well, that's quite hoppy actually, and it's not too fizzy, so I'm actually quite happy with that, because when I'm eating, particularly spicy stuff, I really don't like too much fizz. Okay, I can have nibbles like crisps or nuts with fizzy drinks, but when it comes to beer, I'll have it fizzy if I have to without eating, but never when I am. And they did have a promotion on 2-for-1 cocktails and mocktails, but unfortunately that's not my sort of thing. And it does seem you can actually come here for breakfast and have jerk, bacon and sausages. Muttonistas, the food has arrived, and that was pretty swift as well. Let's go down to the table, and we have some jerk chicken wings and a West Indian goat curry. I'm guessing they call it mutton there as well. Remember, when I went to Pakistan earlier this year, I ate an awful lot of mutton and I really enjoyed it. And let's hope that the flavours of this curry are right up there as well. So the wings, and I didn't add any sauce to them, are nicely marinated in a jerk sauce. I'll try and leave some details of what jerk actually is in the comments section. Now for a little degustation of the sauce. Now I tried both the jerk ones and it's sort of more of the same in terms of the sauce that the chicken's actually cooked in. But the 2 hot sauces are quite different. The red one is quite hot. That would be the sauce I think for most of you. Now the yellow sauce, I think I know what's coming here. Blimey, that is for serious connoisseurs of spice. Now, time to try the goat curry. Okay, completely different to South Asian curries in terms of the spices they're obviously using and how they create the gravy. And again, that's a fairly mild, not to say spiceless curry, and the goat is beautifully tender and does impart a rich meaty flavour to the curry. Don't turn your noses at Muttonistas when you see goat in the menu. However, being who I am and as I am, I will be adding some of that vicious yellow sauce into the curry to fire it up a bit. So let's get a little bit of that yellow sauce in there and try the curry with the yellow sauce and rice. That's really fired it up. Anyway, Muttonistas, I'm going to get on with this and I will see you back when I finish my food. Well folks, that really was delicious. I prefer the jerk wings, that's not to say the curry's bad. Having been to the Caribbean, I do like a jerk barbecue. Anyway, I've got a bit of a dab on now, which for those of you who are not from this part of the world might not know that it means I'm sweating a lot. So let's cool down with the beer, then we'll head over to the Monk to talk some football. Well, Muttonistas, it always seems like an eternity between my visits to the Northern Monk. It has actually been 3 weeks, but they have a really great dry stout up called Irie Stout. And a lovely little number it is too. Anyway, this match is as dead rubber you can get, and I often expect 0-0 draws from them. They're very cagey affair, nobody wants to get injured or anything like that, but we will see, and the teams announced are actually surprisingly strong. As City, we have Cole Palmer and Rico Lewis starting. They've obviously impressed Guardiola a lot. They both look decent when they come on for little cameos towards the end of games. But otherwise, it's a really strong team. No Kevin De Bruyne or Haaland, but we have Mahrez, Foden and Alvarez up front. Grealish gets a game, Gundogan gets a game, and the other notable absentee is Bernardo Silva, who has been playing, in my opinion, extremely well at play. Nice little number this stout is, almost tastes oaty. Maybe it is an oatmeal stout. I couldn't find out that much about it. Anyway, so let's head off to the Etihad. Hope it's not the bore fest of a 0-0 I'm kind of expecting. I mean, they do as well have Isco and Rakitic playing for them tonight, so they've put in a reasonably strong lineup as well. Anyway, come on City, and let's head off. The transport system is an absolute mess tonight. Going to have to get an expensive black cab to the ground. No trams, gridlock roads. Oh dear. Oh well, sorry folks, we might miss the first few minutes. Well, I don't tend to get to the ground particularly early, but this, my goodness, is by far the worst I've ever seen it. 7:30 and then 20 to 8. Not a taxi or a tram to be found, but I'm sure eventually I'll find something. Well, as luck would have it, I got a taxi pretty shortly afterwards, and the driver was superb. He knew all the back routes, so I got in with 90 seconds gone on the clock. And there are people still struggling to get to their seats. It's about 8 minutes in now as well. Just shows you how bad the traffic was today. And if I lift up over there, hardly any Seville fans have made it. And those Sevilla fans will be getting very wet. I know what it's like down there. I suppose when we went to Seville, we were in the open air as well, but the only way you'd get wet there is if somebody spilled a drink over you. Well, fair play to Seville. City have been a bit casual, and they've been trying to make the most of their counters, although from a corner, allowing to loop a free header in like that, well, probably shouldn't happen. City 0, Sevilla 1. And the band of Sevilla fans are going wild down now. I don't know how well you can pick it up on camera, but a vicious wind is swirling around, and you can probably see the rain in the background. Not very nice to play in, I imagine. I wonder if anybody's playing away to Stoke tonight. So at half-time it's 1-0 to Seville. I'm standing in the queue for refreshments, but I doubt I'll be able to get any unless I'm prepared to risk missing a few minutes in the second half. As for the play in the first half, not the best game. City a bit pedestrian. Some good stuff down the right with Foden and Grealish. Mahrez and his side, apart from one ball over, pretty bad. Seville's goal, well, you've got to defend corners better than that. Ortega, the reserve keeper again, seems to have done okay, but there has been a definite lack of cutting edge up front. Let's see if we can do better in the second half.
Go City!
Well, City looked as if they were stringing a nice move together in the middle of the park, and then it broke down. But Seville so sloppily gave the ball straight back in the most dangerous of areas, and Rico Lewis was nicely played in by Julian Alvarez, slotted onto the loose ball and finished with some aplomb to make it Seville 1, City 1. Well, Kevin De Bruyne was introduced and he certainly spiced things up there. What a delicious ball after regaining the ball near the halfway line. And he fed the ball nearly half the length of the pitch to Julian Alvarez, who rounded the keeper and scored from a very acute angle. That was a nice finish. 2-1 City. The ball was given over in a terrible location. Alvarez then slotted it over to Mahrez, who put it away quite nicely, as he often does when the pressure's off. Why can't you do that all the time, Riyadh? So, 3-1 City, game over. Massive round of applause for Rico Lewis, who's just been subbed off as he walked around the pitch. He's had a great game, and the way he took on some players one-on-one, wow, what a prospect he looks. Go on, Well, with the ongoing traffic chaos, 3 buses in an enormous queue, and probably a gargantuan queue for the trams, I'm actually going to walk back to the centre tonight. It takes 20 to 25 minutes. Well, tonight for our post-match wrap, I'm back at the Waldorf, the place I frequent, and sometimes watch matches when I can't get an away ticket. And as for today's game, there's not a lot you can actually take from a game like this, except that some tactical formations and personnel were experimented with and didn't actually work as well as maybe Guardiola hoped in the first half. First of all, using Gundogan as a holding midfield player. He tried that in the Champions League final. He has used Gundogan there before, but didn't work then, and it didn't really work now. So the goal City conceded, it looked a little bit ugly straight from a corner to me. Well, I wouldn't say City were awful in the first half. They improved markedly in the second half, especially when Rodri came on, gave a lot more balance. Bernardo came on, and then Kevin De Bruyne came on. And wow, what an assist that was. From the halfway line to the edge of the box, he is an incredible passer. Probably the best I've ever seen. Alvarez was good, never stopped running, and wow, was he rewarded for his effort. A, with a goal from that De Bruyne assist, and B, from that harrying of the Seville defender when Seville yet again gave away the ball in a sloppy position through excellent pressing, and then set up Mahrez, who managed to put one away for a change. And yes, Mahrez did finish the goal very nicely. The problem is, why does he not do that when we're under pressure, when we're already ahead in a game? He's very good at firing away shots and at taking penalties. Just that when the score's level or we're behind, no, then he tends to bottle it. But special plays should be reserved for Rico Lewis. Wow, what a talent that guy could be. The way he turned the Seville defenders inside and out, and the way he took his goal, what a prospect we have on our hands there. Okay, yes, it could be a flash in the pan, but if we see a bit more of that, he might be able to force his way into the starting lineup. As for Seville, well, a few players I recognise were playing. Rakitic, Isco, and then Lamela came on later on. I'm not sure quite how many of their first 11 started today, although they do have a big derby game against Betis at the weekend, so I would have thought actually not that many of them would have started, but I don't know. But even in these Champions League dead runners, there's always something to play for. The coefficient points, which you don't need if you're a first seed because you've either won your league or won the event or the Europa League, but are otherwise helpful. And of course there is prize money for every point you get in this competition and for every win you get. So time to wrap things up for now. And the World Cup looms on the horizon. We only have home games until then, so no away vlogs. I won't be going to the home game against Fulham at the weekend, but I will be with you to bring you the vlog from the rather spicy Carabao Cup or League Cup tie against Chelsea. That'll be a midweek fixture with a home league fixture against Brentford the Saturday after to wrap things up. So I'm going to love you and leave you for now. Please remember, keep liking, keep sharing, and keep subscribing. But most of all, don't forget, you can't beat a bit of mutton.